Hi people, Marino Ravenberg here again as always, and as usual. I'm gonna do another individualistic astrological chart, a natal chart, briefly. This one is going to be shorter compared to the last one I did about Albert Fish, the cannibal and serial killer, etc. You can tell based in the top left corner of the chart whose chart it's going to be. It's going to be about Jeff Bezos. Of course, I'm not just going to cover negative things. I'm also going to cover people that society on a global level or at a global level views as successful. In any case, most people know Jeff Bezos. For people that don't know it, just check the link in the description below. Jeff Bezos is the owner of Amazon, as in Amazon.com, and he is one of the wealthiest people in the world. Now, again, most people know who Jeff Bezos is. I don't even have to bother with that. I mean, you've really been living under a rock. If you, no offense to you, but you have really been living under a rock if you don't know who Jeff Bezos is. In any case, yeah, he's the CEO of Amazon, the founder, blah 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 blah. Again, check the link in the description below if you are not caught up on who he is or who he is. In any case, general sources state that he was born on January the 12th, 1964. That was on a Sunday in Albuquerque, New Mexico, in the US, of course. Now, I calculated his time of birth briefly, and it comes down to 0:40 a.m. So 40 minutes past midnight, so 20 minutes to 1 a.m. And yeah, everything seems to be in order. So we're going to go over everything, generally speaking, and you'll see why he's so successful. Astrologically, just when looking at the chart, it just screams success for someone like me, of course, because I can easily see why he's doing so well. Jeff Bezos was born under a very favorable constellation, planetary constellation. So I'm going to start counterclockwise, so from left to right. Let's first start with the ascendant. The ascendant or rising sign was in Libra when he was born. That bodes well in general, stands for being well balanced overall. Second up is the planet Neptune. Neptune is nice and strong, exalted in Scorpio. And it is conjunct the second house and also conjunct the part of fortune, also in Scorpio. What all of this essentially means is that he uses his intuition, his spiritual side essentially to make money, and has tremendous success in doing so. Hence the fact that they're both conjunct. The part of fortune is in Scorpio, and there are also very favorable aspects to the midheaven, which is 27 degrees in Cancer. The midheaven simply stands for your career. So yeah, you can see this already tells that he's destined to have a tremendous career and make a lot of money. The moon further supports the money aspect. The moon is here in Sagittarius in the second house. That simply stands for a good business ability. The moon is neutral in Sagittarius, but in this context, it stands for an abundance in business ability, as well as proffering from said business ability. The black moon, a minor celestial body, also says the same thing. Um, the first planet that is afflicted, he doesn't have a lot of afflicted planets. He only has Mercury, which is in Capricorn, nice and strong, but it's going retrograde, so it's afflicted. Uranus and Pluto, same deal. Both are in Virgo, both are afflicted in these zodiac signs, respectively, and they're also going retrograde. Um, in any case, Mercury in Capricorn going retrograde stands for the fact that there are issues in being ambitious, or there were issues for him. There are or were issues for him in his adult life, or in his life in general, and or in his life in general overall. Um, in terms of being ambitious, name anything, any kind of hurdle that you'll go through on your road to success, the road that you mapped out for yourself. This is something that a lot of people, obviously, needless to say, come across. Um, but yeah, you can imagine that building a $1 billion company is definitely a challenge to say the least. In any case, moving on. The sun is in Capricorn, also good. The sun is neutral in Capricorn, but again, it further supports his strong ambitiousness or his strong ambitions. On the road to success, it's conjunct the Nadir. The Nadir is the opposite of the midheaven, stands for the fourth house essentially, domestic life and whatnot. And it's conjunct Mars, and Mars is super strong in Capricorn. Mars rules Aries and Scorpio, but something that not a lot of people know is that Mars is also tremendously strong in Capricorn. Keywords to remember is that Mars decides what drives you, what essentially gets you going, what turns you on. And Mars and Capricorn stands for ambitiousness. It stands for ambitions, okay? Being an authority figure, just really wanting to make a tremendous name for yourself, or simply wanting to realize a goal or dream. So yeah, you connect the dots. It's simply a matter of connecting the dots. Mars in Capricorn simply stands for someone that is tremendously ambitious, someone that will virtually stop at nothing to attain his goals in a constructive way, of course. And yeah, Mars is in the fourth house. I'm going to get to that in a second. Saturn and Venus are both strong. Saturn at its strongest in Aquarius because Aquarius is one of the zodiac signs it rules over. Venus is also strong in Aquarius. Both indicate being capable of being excellent at dealing with the public, okay, in a disciplined and yet graceful way. Saturn takes care of discipline, Venus takes care of gracefulness. And all of these three planets are in the fourth house. In this specific context, it simply stands for, in his case specifically, dealing with things that you need around the house. And that's where his success stems from. Okay, most people know that the stuff that Amazon sells in general, these are things that you use in the household for the most part. Anything that you can think of, anything. Something as simple as an extension cord to electronic appliances, the household appliances, cleaning agents, anything, anything. You can find anything essentially that you need in life on Amazon. And yeah, that's what this clearly indicates. Chiron minor celestial body in Pisces, that isn't really worth mentioning specifically, honestly. Jupiter in Aries. Jupiter is neutral in Aries. It's in the sixth house. Jupiter in Aries in the sixth house simply stands for an abundance of energy, specifically when it comes to work. Okay, and yeah, you can see it near perfectly fulfills every other aspect of the chart. It really just indicates that he is the kind that works, and sticks tremendous tons of energy into his job. Um, and then last but not least, we come to these two, Uranus and Pluto, both in Virgo, like I said, or in Virgo. Both are afflicted. Not to mention the fact that they're going retrograde, oh boy. So they're super afflicted, they're super weak. For people that are wondering, Uranus is weak in Virgo. In this specific case, it's weak in Virgo, and not even if you exclude the retrograde. Uranus is weak in Virgo because it stands for, generally speaking, someone born under Uranus in Virgo will have a lot of changes in employment. That's someone that will not be able to hold a steady job. Not to mention the fact that the person will have an erratic health situation as well going on. The person will have intermittent health issues throughout life. Um, so yeah, in his case, it's specifically both, honestly, but focuses more on work. Uranus as well as Pluto, super afflicted, simply indicate that regarding his career and regarding work overall, there were a substantial amount of changes in employment or changes in businesses or in business models. Okay, that's why it's in the 11th house. I didn't treat the houses because I'm just going over everything in a general way. I'm not going to go into detail. It's not necessary. Um, yeah, but that's what it stands for in general. And as far as I recall, yeah, that's correct because Jeff Bezos changed companies a lot. He worked for several companies, he did several things regarding employment, and he also rebranded Amazon quite a couple of times, honestly. It had a different name in the beginning, or there were changes, a lot of changes with partners and whatnot. Something along those lines, and that's clearly what this indicates. Pluto also indicates how specifically, whereas Uranus indicates the aforementioned, Pluto indicates specifically that the reason for the aforementioned, which is that all the erratic career changes and changes of employment and all the complications that accompany that are simply due to a lack, or simply due to being overbearing. Pluto being afflicted here and being overbearing and going retrograde simply stands for the fact that he was too finicky about details in general. Jeff Bezos, throughout his career and what led him to success, this didn't contribute to that in any case. This was a drawback. He simply was an overbearing perfectionist, as in he made a point of all the little things, over the smallest things you can think of, and also the fact that yeah, he is difficult to work with for these exact same reasons. He's difficult to work with. He's someone that almost adheres to an impossible standard. and yeah, it simply makes it difficult for people to work with him. He's not the kind of guy that will cut you some slack or will overlook anything in general. For the rest, even despite the fact that these planets are afflicted, they still have good aspects. Okay, both of them are. I mean, Pluto is well aspected to Neptune, well aspected to Mercury, well aspected to the Sun, and it just goes on. Honestly, um, Mars is well aspected to the pot of fortune and Lilith. It just goes on, okay? Like I said, the entire chart just screams success. The moon is well aspected to these two, Saturn and Venus. It's just nothing but good news. You can tell, even the drawbacks, even the minor things are just that. They're minor. I mean, the ratio from good to bad is like 3 to 22. So yeah, you can see Jeff Bezos was destined for success. I mean, this is one of the best placements, one of the best constellations I've ever seen. That's why you're seeing all the action. All the action is in the fourth house. Three exalted planets, heavily exalted planets. Mars being the primary one. The second house, a lot of activity. Venus being nice and strong. I mean, Neptune being nice and strong here. Conjunct the second house. Pot of fortune here. Lilith here. The moon here. Everything is nice and strong. Jupiter being here, which is neutral, but the fact that Jupiter is here in the sixth house, yeah, stands for working yourself to the bone to the point where you're in danger of burnout even. The midheaven is ruled by Cancer, which is a good placement in general. This specifically indicates what his career envelops specifically things relating to the household. Generally speaking, professions that are associated with Cancer, so the moon, lunar professions as I like to call them, are real estate, cooking, food, again, household appliances, everything that has to do with the house. Think of carpets, think of dining room tables, think of sofas, think of televisions, everything that you use in a house essentially. And yeah, that's essentially it. Not to mention the fact, like I said in the beginning, the fact that the ascendant is in Libra makes it so that he's a well balanced individual in general. Overall, as a person, he's well balanced mentally and physically. There is nothing that is being overdone in any way, shape, or form. So that's it in any case, guys. See you later. Bye.